Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to UpSmart. This is your Reddy Prakash. And today I have a good news to share with you all. And yesterday, as you might have known, CAPF 2024 ka reserve list have been released and my name is in the list. That is with the roll number 0301356. And along with this, I have also cleared various other examination. I'll just brief it now. If you see 2024 Minds, I have written that 2024 CSC Minds, I have given the 2024 CSC Minds, and then CAPF 2 times interview I have gone through, and 2024 interview I got 113 marks, which is one among the highest marks in all over India. And along with that, I have also given DFO, that is R&AW RAKA Deputy Field Officer interview in 2025, and Karnataka State PSC interview in 2026 recently, a few days ago, for which the final result will be given in a short duration. And this is my record, and these are my credentials. I hope everyone will go through a successful career. Mine, if you see, I've gone through various interviews, but unfortunately, all my interviews have always given bad luck to me, and I hope many people will get inspired from these records, because not all the failures can be a back step. You can take that as an inspiration for the next examination, because if you see from last 3-4 years, I have given one interview at least a year, and in every interview I always faced a failure, but now I am here. So these are my credentials, and now here we are to discuss the biology class number 4, which will be based on the subunit of reproduction, which is a subunit of life processes. So, and we are here to discuss the CAPF AC crash course, which will be done by the toppers like me, Bharat sir, Rishabh sir, Chetan Bhavane sir, and various others. So this is an opportunity for you people to get into this program and learn from the best of the faculties across India. So without wasting the time, let us get into the chapter now. So I'll just give a brief recap of what we have done from the first class. In the first class, if you see, we started with the discovery of the cell. Hooke discovered what? Hooke discovered dead cells from the cork, and then Leeuwenhoek discovered the living cells. Leeuwenhoek discovered the living cells, and from then on, we moved on to structure of the cells, plasma membrane, cell organelles, and various other things. Completed with the cell, done and dusted from the class, which is the basic class for every chapter to follow on. And from then on, we moved on to tissue as a chapter, which also acted as a foundation chapter for the chapters of life processes like nutrition, respiration, circulation, excretion, and now the reproduction. So we'll now quickly start with reproduction as a chapter. I hope everyone understood yesterday's class, which is of very highly important for the examination. At least 3 to 4 questions are expected from yesterday's class. So here we are to discuss the last subunit of life processes, that is the reproduction. What is reproduction? What is reproduction, sir? Reproduction is my favorite chapter, sir. It is biology. Biology is reproduction. Reproduction alone is not biology. Biology constitutes various other chapters, and of course reproduction is one of the major chapters, and which is highly important for the examination. So how do we define reproduction? It is a process by which living organisms produce new individuals, the babies, new individuals of their own kind. Fine. A plant produces a plant. A rabbit produces a rabbit. A human produces a human. That is reproduction. Production of themselves. That is reproduction. Okay, clear with the definition? Reproduction is producing individuals of the same kind, that is reproduction. And why is reproduction important? Why is reproduction important? Because reproduction forms the basis of evolution. Fine. See, we are here, our next generation, that is what we reproduce, they will be adapted to the new environment, that is the polluted environment maybe, or a better environment maybe. Fine with that. That is how it forms the basis of evolution. And then it ensures survival of species, that is they will be adapted to the new environment, because a slight variability will be there. That will be the importance of variation. The importance of variation will be forms the basis of evolution, and the new generation ensures survival of species, so that the human species won't get destroyed. Next, it also helps organisms adapt to new environmental changes. More or less the same. When a reproduction happens, the new generations or the new species or the new babies will be better adapted to the new environment, such that our own species will be protected and will be ensured they survive for a longer time, but with a slight variation. Fine with the concept of variation. Why the variation? Easy, right? Easy. And the concept of reproduction, what is it? Producing individuals of the same kind, not the different kind. Fine. We understood the concept of reproduction. Now let's discuss what are the types of reproduction. Okay. One is the asexual reproduction, other one is the sexual reproduction. Is there a need to explain sexual reproduction? I hope everyone knows this, what sexual reproduction means. It is when two parents involved, they produce a baby. Easy. When two parents involved, they produce a baby. This is called as sexual reproduction. Then what is asexual reproduction, sir? Asexual reproduction refers to only one parent will be involved. See, this is amoeba. You think amoeba will be seeking for a female partner, or female amoeba will be seeking for a male partner to produce the baby? No, amoeba will be only one individual, and that produces another individual. That is how it happens in asexual reproduction. So it's asexual, non-sexual. Fine. And if you see the rate which produces baby in a faster manner, sir, if you ask that question, it is asexual, which produces babies in a faster process. And obviously these will be slower process. It is called as gestation period for the process of making babies. Okay. In humans it is around 9 months. In elephants it is around 22 months, one of the highest around in the mammals. Fine. And if we ask the energy seeking, sir, this is fast. When it is fast, when it is less time duration, you need more energy. Okay. When it is less time duration, you need more energy. No, it is less time duration, it is fast, then you need less energy requirement for the asexual reproduction. And if you see sexual reproduction, obviously it is slower process, long process, and then more energy will be required. Easy with the concept. Next, little variation in the asexual reproduction. Amoeba will be there, that will produce another amoeba. You have studied various kinds of single-celled organisms like amoeba, bacteria. Okay. Do we see like amoeba is classified into various races? Do we see bacteria is classified into various races, like the negroid race, like the mongoloid race, like the caucasoid race? No, right? But have you seen the humans? The black sir, the white sir, the Chinese people sir, the Mongolian people sir. That is the variation, races. When the reproduction happens between two people, that is the sexual reproduction. That ensures variability, variation will be there, that will form the races. But when it comes to asexual reproduction, it will give a Xerox copy of it. carbon copy of it. Fine. So more variation in the asexual reproduction. Fine with that? Easy. Then how about evolution, sir? How about evolution, sir? Bacteria started during the origin of universe and it remained as the bacteria. Okay. Amoeba started before Christ and it remained as amoeba. Humans, how did they start? Sir, humans started with monkey. That became bigger monkey. That monkey had 2 legs and it stood with the 2 legs. And then become Neanderthal. And Neanderthal became human, sir. You saw the process. A monkey could stand, and then a Neanderthal, and then a proper human being. This is evolution. Evolution happens in asexually reproduced organisms. And don't think asexual means only humans or only animals. I mean sexual means only humans and only animals. It happens in plants also, flowers also. Fine. I'll explain all these things. Just I'm making sure you people don't get confused with that. Fine with that? Okay, fine with the concept. These all are the concepts which form the basics of understanding. It can be asked as a ditto in the examination, or it can be asked as an application based question in the examination. Make sure you are clear with the concept. Fine. And next we'll begin with the asexual reproduction, what it means, where and all it occurs, how it occurs. We'll discuss all these things. So let's first begin. Sir, asexual reproduction, sir. What are the types of asexual reproduction, sir? What is asexual reproduction, sir? I already told you what is asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction refers to production of new individuals with the involvement of two parents. So 2 parents, right, sir? No, sir. Involvement of only one parent. That one parent gives rise to new individuals. It can be one individual, it can be multiple individuals. We don't know that. But the parent will be only one individual. Fine with that? Easy. That is asexual reproduction. And there are majorly 6 kinds of asexual reproduction. We'll discuss all the 6 kinds which are very important. Mark my words, one question will come from asexual reproduction for sure. Or it can be compared with sexual reproduction. Fine. Asexual reproduction, sir. The first one is fission. Fission. What is fission? Fission is, you heard fission and fusion in the energy concept. Fission means one energy molecule divides into 2 energy molecule and that process continues. And it is controllable process. Okay. That is nuclear energy program of India will be an example of fission process. And fusion means 2 energy molecule combining to form a bigger molecule. Okay, that is an example for sun energy. Now, the fission concept is also there in biology. Very similar to that, but with different application. Same. We heard in this thing, energy concept, fission means one molecule divides into 2 molecule and that process continues. Easy. That is the fission concept in energy chapter. Now, fission concept in reproduction chapter or the biology. What fission here means is similarly a parent cell divides into 2 daughter cell. This is the parent cell. These are the 2 daughter cells. Fine. Easy. A parent cell divides into 2 daughter cells. This process is called as fission. Parent will always be there, only one individual. Parent will always be as a one individual and that produces 2 individuals. In the first cycle, this is the parent, these are the 2 daughters. When it comes to second cycle, this will be the first parent, it will have 2 daughter cells. Fine with that? Easy. See, what are the examples for fission? Amoeba is an example. Leishmania is an example. The names might be slightly, sir, English wale kept so many hard names. Hum Bharat wale will study names as it is, will pronounce as it is. These fellows named Amoeba, Leishmania, and they pronounced it as amoeba, leishmania. That's how it is. They started it, we are continuing it. We have to learn it. You need to get 2 marks now. You need to get 2 marks for the question. Study it, remember it. When you don't remember it, when you feel difficult to remember a name in science, especially in biology, physics and chemistry, when you find it difficult to remember, write the word for 10 times on a plain paper. Automatically you will remember. Write the name for 10 times on a plain paper, automatically you will remember it. Fine. Okay. Or another cheat is for the arts people, especially another cheat while preparing science, especially physics, chemistry and biology. The cheat is maintain a plain white paper. White paper, maintain it. Write down all the words which you don't remember, which you feel are difficult to remember. Write down only those words on a plain paper. Don't write any concept next to that. Don't detail it, nothing. Write just the words. And before studying the subject or chapter every time, just brush up those words. Make sure you remember those words. If at all, if you don't remember those words, just Google it down. Google it down, what does it mean? By Googling it down once, you will never forget for a longer time. Okay, that is how it happens. Use the tricks. Make sure you don't feel difficult. Practice, consistency. It will give you the success. Now the amoeba. Amoeba will reproduce through fission. Leishmania will reproduce through fission. Amoeba, same. Division can occur in any plane. Amoeba, it can occur in any plane. That is amoeba. And when it comes to Leishmania, division occurs in a particular plane. This is the only difference. And believe me, this is also important. That is why I have written in the slide. And I have given the images so that it will be easy for you people. Okay. Amoeba, easy with the concept. Amoeba, it can divide in any plane. But when it comes to Leishmania, a particular plane. It divides only in a particular plane. That is all with fission. So, there can also happen multiple fissions, sir. There can also happen multiple fissions, sir. Sir, but you told one parent, only 2 fission will happen, only 2 daughter cells will come. That is called fission. See, that is called as binary fission. Okay, fine. I have just confused you people so that you people will not confuse in the future. Okay, this is the confusion you might get. And most probably you will get. So that I am only creating the confusion so that you will not get the confusion again. Confusing the confusion. Binary fission is the first type. Multiple fission is the second type. What binary fission? As the name suggests, one parent cell will produce the 2 daughter cells. That is the binary fission. And as the name suggests, what is multiple fission? One parent cell produces multiple daughter cells. You see? This is one parent cell. How many daughter cells you have? Will you count now? Ab count karega? Nahi. Multiple. We don't need that. And the example for that is Plasmodium. Plasmodium parasite, which is malaria parasite. Plasmodium, malaria parasite. From this mosquito, malaria parasite is caused by Plasmodium. This is an example for multiple fission. Fine, easy. We'll move forward. Done with the fission concept, basic concept. Next we'll go through the second type of asexual reproduction, that is fragmentation. So now I need you to just understand the basic English meaning of fragmentation. Fragments means parts of a bigger individual. When a bigger individual, see, you have a mirror at home, break it down. Break it down means don't actually do it. You would have seen a mirror breaking, right? You would have seen a mirror breaking. Now that mirror breaks into multiple pieces. Those pieces are called as fragments. And the process of breaking is called as fragmentation. Similarly, the process of breaking. This cute boy, which you see here, is called as pyrogyra. This cute boy which you see here is called as pyrogyra. What this person does is, when he needs babies, he'll not seek a partner. Because he is equipped with the capability of asexual reproduction. Okay, he is equipped with the process of capability of asexual reproduction. So what he does is, he breaks his body into multiple fragments. Fragment 1, fragment 2, fragment 3, 4, 5, 6. He'll break his body into multiple fragments, and by God's grace, each fragment develops into a new individual. You see, science is so interesting, the nature is so very interesting. He'll break his body, it seems, and that each part of the body will become a baby, it seems. You see, that is pyrogyra, that is fragmentation. Body breaks into fragments, each fragment will develop into a new individual. Ab pata chala why I was telling, science is very interesting chapter, biology is very very interesting, and it is very very easy. When you learn biology in this way, in a conceptual way, when the biology is taught in the right way, all you need is the best teacher and the best content, and in an exam orientation manner, which you are doing now. Okay, this will make sure students will understand, you will remember for a longer duration, and you will gain the 2 very important marks in the examination. I always tell 2 marks is very important, because I missed out from the final result of CAPF 2024 with just, believe me, with just 1.3 marks. Unfortunately, I got through the reserve list. So one question would have made me happy 2 years back only. Now I had to wait 2 more years. One question, 2 marks, 2 years, sir. Such painful, right? Make sure, don't miss the 2 marks. You understood about fragmentation? You understood about which is the first type? Fission. So let's move forward. We'll understand now the third type, that is regeneration. Regeneration. What is generation? It's not new generation, old generation. Generation means something like generating, something like starting. Regeneration means it is happening again. Now regeneration is like repair. Regeneration is like repair. And remembering examples are very very important in this asexual reproduction. Remember the example. For fission, the example is amoeba and come in this second type. Come in this second type of example. Very important. And for this thing, fragmentation, our cute boy name is Spirogyra. Fine. So regeneration, it is like repair. What happens here is a complete organisms develops from a body fragment. It is by an accident or by something like that. If a body breaks into 2 or more pieces, then a part will develop into a new organisms. Okay, see, if this body breaks down like this, this will become the new body, and that body will develop to become the parent body. Fine, this is slightly different from the fragmentation. This is more like an accident and repairing the accident. Okay, that is a slight differentiation, very confusing. Make sure you don't get confused, and make sure the examples are properly remembered for a longer time. Here the examples are Hydra and Planaria. Easy. Hydra and Planaria are examples for regeneration. Examples are very important. Concepts are also very very important. See, Regeneration is mainly a repair process, as I already told you, not the normal mode of reproduction. The normal mode of reproduction is, this kind of normal mode of reproduction is fragmentation, and if it occurs by an accident and if it develops into a new organism through a repairing process, then it is called as regeneration. The examples for regenerations is Hydra and Planaria. Remember the examples. Next is budding. Budding. Have you heard the English name bud? What do you mean by bud? Sir, flower bud. A word. What is flower bud? Flower bud is when before a flower blooms. Before a flower blooms like this, it would have been like this. This is flower bud. Okay. Similarly, in this cute boy fellow, Hydra, in this fellow, if he regenerates with an accident, that is regeneration. If that fellow has got a bud here, then what it does is, example, potato buds you have seen, right? Potato will be there. When potato is kept for some more number of days and water falls on it, or it gets the moisture, or it gets the soil, then what happens is, you would have observed the tiny buds around the potato in a green colored manner. Those are buds. In that time, what happens is, the bud will grow. See, initially it was small, then it will grow like this. Then it will break down. Then it will become a separate carbon copy of the parent. That is called as budding. Understand? A small outgrowth is called as bud. Like this. Small outgrowth is called as, outside growth is called as bud. Develops on the parent baby. It develops on the parent baby. Bud grows and detaches. Bud grows and it comes out of the parent baby. And then it forms a new organism. That is budding. Easy peasy. Understood? Let's go forward. Now the fifth type is vegetative propagation. We have listened this name of vegetative propagation for 1,000 number of times throughout our school life, okay? But I don't remember the concept, sir, because it was not taught like this, sir. It was taught like in a ratta morning, white and black board. All I had is a textbook, NCERT textbook. Answer, I have to answer in the final examination. That's all, sir. Understand? Biology is a beautiful subject. Understand? Now, vegetative propagation means new plants develops from roots, stems, or leaves. Now, we have studied so many types of asexual reproduction, starting from fission, fragmentation, regeneration, budding. Do they had leaves? Do they had stems? Do they had roots? No, sir. It was some other kind of organisms, chota organisms. Chota organism is giving new babies. Shala, happy life. But what is this vegetative propagation? New plants develops from roots, stems, leaves. You have seen banana plant, right? How a banana parent plant will produce its daughter plant. Yes, right? How a banana plant comes? How? It will have a shoot, banana stem. It will be cut. After some days, the root will develop into a new plant. I ever observed that? Banana plant will be that here. First they will cut this, they will eat it off. Then we will cut this. This will be thrown off. Then they will have the small stem. This will be in the soil itself. After raining, if we can see a new banana plant coming from that. Ever observed this? This is called as vegetative propagation. This happens mainly through three types: stems, roots, and leaves. Very important. Focus, understand. If you feel confused at any point of time, at any minute, you can comment us. You can contact me directly by contacting the number displaying below this smart board, which is 9110690179. Or what you can do is Go back to that minute, scroll it back. Nothing changes, nothing wastes your time. Scroll it back, reason twice. Don't think like, hey, I heard once, I will remember it for a long time. Colorful slides, very beautiful. Sir has taught easily. Don't take it to the ego. I am a good teacher, I know that, but everybody will get confused, including me. What I teach, I will only forget sometimes, because we are humans and our brain is made to forget things. When you feel confused with some concept or some topic or some names, scroll it back, listen to it twice, come back. Okay, don't make sure your ego dominates you. Make sure your goal dominates you. To crack this exam, that is your goal. Fine. Banana plant will come through vegetative propagation. Second thing, the rose plant. How this one comes? Yes, right. I've given rose to my girlfriend so many times. But how the rose came? From the plant. How the new rose plant is coming? Sir, plant seller in his nursery was selling plants, sir. How that person got plants, sir? He cut the stems. He will cut the stem. He will keep it in soil. He will moisture it. He will give the required nutrients that will grow into a new plant. That is how it happens. Similarly, jasmine, sugarcane. Sugarcane will have notes that will develop into a new plant. And bryophyllum. Remember this example, very important. This is the most important example from this topic. Easy. It happens through stems, roots and leaves. Easy, right? Now, we'll understand the advantages and disadvantages of vegetative propagation, because this is the most important type of asexual reproduction. The advantages are, it produces identical plants. When it is identical, when your brother or when your sister is very similar looking to you, what they call? They'll call you as clones. Clones, twin brothers, twin sister. He is the clone of that person. Fine. Similarly, when vegetative propagation is done, this plant will grow like this, very similar babies. That is, it will produce clones, identical plants. Next, faster growth and early flowering. Faster growth and early flowering because, see, understand, if it was not a asexual reproduced plant, then what it has to do? It will have pollen grain. Then it has, that pollen grain should seek where the female part of plant is. Then this has to go to female part of plant, where female plant part of plant is, and that will be taken care by organisms like wind and processes like organisms like honeybees, processes like wind, etc. Then an honeybee should come to take this pollen grain. Okay, it will take it to female plant. Then that will form a seed. Then that seed should fall into this soil. Then that will grow into small plant. If it rains properly, if proper watering is done, if soil is nice, then it will have flowers and fruits. But now, due to the vegetative propagation, directly they'll cut the stem, they'll plant it. The next thing, immediately what happens is, it will grow leaves. Afterwards, flowers. No need of pollen grains seeking female gametes and honeybee helping it and developing a new seed. All that is not required. All the drama is cut down. Directly it will develop flowers, the leaves, flowers and fruits. Easy. That is why faster growth and early flowering. Early flowering because it becomes faster. Next, useful for seedless plants. Useful for seedless plant. This process requires a seed to be developed, as I told you. This process of pollen grain seeking female gametes and going into the soil, and to become a plant, a seed should be in the soil. Sir, if the fruit doesn't have seed, then how? Now you are seeing seedless plants. If the fruit doesn't have seed, then how? Then vegetative propagation. They'll cut the stems, they'll cut the leaves, or they'll cut the roots, they'll plant it. Easy, understood? Seedless plants are propagated through vegetative propagation. Understood the concept? Now the disadvantages, not only advantages, there are disadvantages also. Example, very little variation. Parent will become exactly like its child. But little variation is required in the environment, yaar. You see, monkeys are great grandfathers and their great grandfathers and their great grandfathers were chimps. They were chimpanzees, orangutans. Then they happened to become humans. That little variation made sure we as a species were not extinct and we survived the variation in environment. But now with the vegetative propagation, variation itself is not happening. So if the environment changes, they'll get extinct, right? That is a risk. Little variation, greater risk from diseases. Okay, greater risk from diseases because there won't be new variation, and that new variation won't adapt to the new environment and new diseases from that. Easy. Requires human care and maintenance. Okay, this is basic point. We'll get to the next slide now. The next topic is, the next kind of asexual reproduction is, I'll explain this, spore formation. Spore formation is the last major kind of asexual reproduction. Spore formation. You would have seen plants like this and flowers like this, right? What they will have is chota wala seed like things within them. Those are called as spores. What they happen to do is, due to wind or due to drying or various other processes, they'll get out of that plant. They will get out of that plant. So what it does is, each spore will develop into a new organism. Reproduction happens through spores. No need of a female or a male. Single organism, single parent develop into a new baby, new individual. Each spore will develop into a new plant. Easy. But the spores should fly from this plant to away. It should survive the extreme heat, pollution, wind, water, everything, right? And it is this much. How will it survive, sir? How will it survive, sir? We as a humans only need sweaters, need ACs, need fans, need various other things. Okay, but it needs some protection. For that protection, the spores will have thick walls. The walls will be thick in nature so that it will sustain the harsh environment, and through this it will survive unfavorable condition. And the new spores, through this thick wall, it will survive and it will grow into new organisms under suitable condition wherever it is. It will go to the suitable condition, then it will break down to become a new plant, okay, or new organism. And the example for them are rhizopus. Rhizopus means bread mold. You would have seen breads like this, right? They would have rotten. Breads at our home, if they are kept for a longer duration, the breads will rot. How the breads will rot? Sir, green color algae like thing, something will form on the bread, sir. Have you focused? Have you zoomed those? Just focus the next time when the bread will get spoiled. The green color will have spore like dot things like this. These will go out and it will form a new organisms. Bread yield or the rhizopus is an example for spore formation. Important, easy. So all the types are completed, all the major types if I say. So one of the concept within the asexual reproduction and especially within the vegetative propagation is tissue culture. You know tissue? I taught you what tissue is. What is tissue? Come on, toppers. What is tissue? Tissue is a group of similar cells which perform a specific task, which perform a common task, specific task. That is called tissue. It is summation of cells. This is tissue. Culturing the tissue means, tissue culture means growing the tissues. Okay, you keep a tissue and grow it multiple times. That is called as tissue culture. So we'll see the definition. Technique of growing new plants. We are speaking here about the reproduction, that is new plant. Technique of growing new plants from a small plant tissue. Keep a small root, that is a tissue, or keep a small stem, that is a tissue. That is not a tissue per se, that is many tissues. You can keep a tiny element of it, and you can give required medium like minerals, water, temperature and everything. Then that will grow into a new plant only. That is called as tissue culture. So if you get back to the definition, growing new plants, the purpose is to grow new plants, one thing. Second thing is from a piece of tissue, plant tissue, under controlled conditions like temperature, sunlight, water, minerals. Okay, if you give all this which are required for a plant germination and growth, then it will grow into a new plant. That is, you are controlling it. It is not there in the lab, but you are giving it controlled environment, means it is in your hands. You can control the environment. You can give the environment what is required to the plant. So the importance will be produces plants quickly. No need of pollen grain going in search of female gamete, going and honeybee helping it and going into soil and seed forming it, seed germinating it. All this bakwas is gone. Directly keeping in the lab, controlled environment, and you are giving the whatever the environment is required. It will grow. It will grow like anything. You keep chota tissues in 1,000 places in this much space. You will give 1,000 saplings. Okay. Used in agriculture and horticulture. You see, small tissues of this size would have kept in these test tubes, and it will grow under controlled environment. Fine. Easy. This is called as tissue culture. Easy, right? Next is sexual reproduction. Now here comes many names for which I'll give a mnemonic, a shortcut, but effort from your side will also be required. Okay? Sexual reproduction. The definition is reproduction involving fusion of male and female gametes. I told you sexual reproduction means two parents are required to provide new individuals. So a male and female will come together to provide a baby. Fine. Come together to provide a baby. That means a male cell and a female cell are fusing, are getting into one cell. They're making both the cells will become one cell, and that cell will become baby cell. In layman terms, in simple terms, if I say, it will become like this. This is layman terms. This is the simple concept. Now I'll go into technical concept. Okay. Reproduction of involving fusion. Fusion means, I told you, energy fusion. Two molecules combining to form a bigger molecule. Here also male and female combining to form a baby molecule. Okay. Fusion of male and female gametes. Importance of them are, it produces variation. I discussed the concept. Asexual will produce variation. Helps in evolution and adaptation. Easy with this? Easy? Now, sexual reproduction, I told you. Sexual reproduction will also happen in plants. We'll discuss that now. Sexual reproduction in plants. See, for sexual reproduction to happen, first you should have is sexual parts. Female sexual parts, male sexual parts. Entire body is not sexual part. A particular aspect of a body is sexual part. You know what are sexual parts in male and female humans. But in plants also, there will be particular sexual parts. I'll tell you what they are. One is stamen. Stamen. Is it sounding like sounding like men? Men? Yes, it is sounding like men because men is there. And this is reproductive organ of plant. Male reproductive organ of plant because men is there. And I need you to remember stamen as not stamen but SFA MEN. 1 second. S F A M E N, and you do to remember stamen as sphamen. I'll give you the reason why I'll tell you to remember as sphamen, not stamen, but still it is men and it is male reproductive part of a plant. Second thing is pistil. Pistil, and it is also called as pistil, it is also called as carpel. Remember the last letter, it starts with L. L means lady, lady means female, it is female reproductive organ of a flower, a plant. Fine, we'll discuss each of this in detail. Remember this as sphamen, remember this as pistil, especially L means lady or carpel, and I need you to remember these as pistil, sus. I'll tell you why I'm telling you to remember it as sus. Sus. There's sphamen, yes, sus. I'll give you the reason. Don't worry. That's a shortcut. Next, we'll see what sphamen and pistil sus means. It is male reproductive organ, it is female reproductive organ. That is clear, right? Now we'll get through the next thing and explain you why I told you like this. See now, stamen. Stamen, you would have seen parts of plant. Oh, this thing I'll show 1 second. You would have seen flower like this, right? This will be the flower, and the central part of it is fully called as pistil, pistil sus, and these ones, the smaller ones around the central one, the many ones around the lady, which is how it happens in our society, unfortunately, okay, are called as men, sphamen. Now we'll take each one of them in detail. You see, stamen, the smaller parts around the pistil sus, this one, this support is called as filament, remember the names, and the upper part of that is called as anther, filament and anther. Why I told you to remember it as sphamen is, F means filament, filament, and it will be a support like structure. A, anther means the upper structure which will have pollen grains within it. Can you see pollen grains? Which will have pollen grains. Easy with this. That is how I told you to remember stamen as sphamen, F-A, filament, anther. Anther is the upper part, anther will have the pollen grains. Filament is the supporting part. Easy. Science is very easy, sir. You will tell this, sir. Pistil. I told you to remember pistil or carpel as pistil sus. Before getting there, we'll read this. Stamen or sphamen produces pollen grains. Pollen grains are the male gametes. We discussed this anyways. I'm just making sure nothing is left out from the slides without discussion. Male gametes are pollen grains. Pollen grains are produced in anther. Okay. Now the pistil sus. Why sus is stigma, ovary, ovule and style. The short form for the 4 parts or 4 components of the pistil or sus. Stigma, style, ovary and ovule. Easy with that. Now the stigma. Sir, what is stigma, sir? I'll show you the image only. All I want you to is understand. You see here? We understood this, right? Filament and anther and pollen grains coming out of it. Those pollen grains are male gametes. Easy. Now we are studying the female reproductive organ of a plant within flower. Stigma, style, ovary and ovule. Stigma is, I told you, this entire thing is pistil or carpel, and the upper part is stigma, the support is style. This part is ovule, ovary, this part is ovary. The central part of it is ovule, which is highly protected, which will be deep inside, not visible to the naked eye. That is the female gamete called as ovule. Okay, easy with that. Ovary will be there like the stomach, and within the stomach an ovule will be there, highly protected. That is the female gamete. Understood the parts of the female reproductive organ of the plants? Easy, right? We'll go back to that slide now. I'll tell you why each of them are there. Style, these pollen grains will be there, no? This should get in sexual reproduction with the female part now. Now this pollen grain will be taken by the honey bee and will be kept on the stigma. Stigma receives the pollen. And the support structure. Style, what it does is connects the stigma and ovary. Stigma is the support structure, ovary is the stomach-like structure, and ovule is the inside part, highly protected, but that is the female gamete. Ovule. Now what this stigma does is, it will connect this part to the stomach, that is the ovary, and it will pass the pollen grain. It will contain the ovule, right? And ovule will have the egg cell. Ovule will be having the egg, and this pollen will be having like the structures like sperm. So the sperm and egg will fuse. Now understood how the fertilization happens? Easy, right? To understand how the fertilization happens, first you need to understand the components of male reproductive organ, then the components of female reproductive organ, and male goes towards the female, towards the first component, that is stigma. Then style connects to ovary, and that ovary will be having the ovule. Ovule will be having the egg. Egg and pollen will fuse. Easy. Understood, right? Now types of flowers. Flowers are majorly two types. One is unisexual flowers, and the other one is bisexual flowers. Unisexual flowers means, only one sex. Uni means one. Sexual means male or female. It can be male or female, M or F. Right? It can be male or female. That means a flower will generate either from the male gamete or from the female gamete, not from both together. Right? Unisexual means it will either come from male or it will either come from female. That is the option, that is unisexual, one sex. Second one is bisexual, two sexual. That is the male plus female. Both should fuse to form a flower. Understood? See here, unisexual, only stamen or pistil. Any one of them is enough to produce the flower. But for bisexual, both stamen and pistil should fuse, should come together and connect together to form a flower. The examples for unisexual are papaya and watermelon. The examples for bisexual are hibiscus and mustard. Remember the examples also. Nothing to be taught from examples. You have to do ratta morning. Understand? Understand where to do ratta and where to apply the concepts. Next, pollination. That is the fertilization. We'll now understand how this happens. I told you, Anther will have pollen grains will go to the stigma, then stigma will have style, it will take that to ovary, and then that will have ovule, it will fuse. Easy process, we'll do the recap now. Pollination means transfer of pollen from anther to stigma. This is called as pollination. Easy, the agents can be a wind. A wind might carry the pollen grain directly, or a water. Water can also carry the pollen grain, or animals like honeybees. Easy concept. Types of pollination. Oh, this is very important. Types of pollinations are very important. One is the self-pollination. Other one is the cross-pollination. Confusing but easy ones. I'll tell you why. Why self-pollination? You see this is a single plant. It will have female at the center and many males around it. Right? If this male connects to the female at the center, that is, male within the flower connects to the female within the same flower, only one flower will do the reproduction within itself, then that is called as cross-pollination. If the plant has two flowers, one flower here and one flower here, male goes from this flower to this flower, that is called as cross-pollination. Easy concept. Within a plant and within the flower it happens, then self-pollination. Between two flowers when it happens, it is called as cross-pollination. The same is written here, read it. Next, fertilization. How does this happen now? Fertilization, how does this happen now? Fertilization means fusion of male and female gametes. That is the pollen grain and ovule, which is the female gamete. These two should make love. When these two make love, it will become the fertilization, fusion. It will produce the baby. Okay. The result will be zygote. The initial form of baby is called as zygote. Easy, I'll tell all of this. Don't worry. Now see, what happens is, you have three parts now. This stomach-like structure is ovary, and within that you have ovule. Ovule will have a egg cell, I told you. In search of egg cell comes a pollen grain. That pollen grain will come in search of egg cell. Right? The pollen grain will come, it will make love with the egg cell present within the ovule, so that the ovule will turn into the seeds of the next generation. Khatarnak hai na? Seeds of the next generation. So the ovule will become the seed. Easy. And other parts are there. Ovule will become the seed, and within that after fertilization it will become a zygote. It will form a zygote. The egg and pollen grain will fuse to form the zygote. So the zygote will develop to become embryo. This is the zygote after fusing egg cell, pollen grain. This is egg, this is pollen. It will fuse and become the embryo. Okay. And this entire ovary, the stomach-like thing, will go on to become the fruit. This is very important. Okay. This is very important. A PVQ also in the same CAPF exam and various other examinations. Easy one. Now the germination. Sir, you are telling fertilization, fusion, germination, asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction. Sir, this is biology, sir. For your kind information, it is confusing as well as interesting. If you remove the confusion, it is most interesting. I am trying to remove the confusions. If you are still confused, comment it down. Okay. Now the germination. Germination means a seed will be like this, right? When it falls into the soil, then the seed will break. Then what happens is, seed will break in a sense, it will leave a crack to develop a sapling, not two pieces. Okay. Seed will develop a crack. And a seedling will happen. Seedling means the initial first two leaves is called as seedling. Okay, and that stage is called as seedling stage. Then it will develop into a new plant. This process of seed becoming a plant is called as germination. Important, easy, germination, confusing, easy. That is why write it down in the note paper, white paper. Just keep seeing those words every time you study the subjects. Okay, just keep seeing those words. If you're still not able to remember, Google it down. Next time you'll not forget. Okay. We'll see the definition. Development of a seed into a seedling under suitable condition. This development is called as germination. Easy. Next. Conditions required are you should have enough water, not too much water, enough water for a particular plant, particular air, particular temperature. Easy, right? This is germination. Now the concept of fertilization and reproduction in plants are over. We'll get to your favorite chapter now. Of course, not to like this was favorite chapter for many of us in our school days. For me also. Because we were not enough matured to understand what sexual reproduction in humans was. This is a beautiful chapter, understand. And it is a source of the universe. Source of today's universe. Okay. Reproduction in human beings. Human reproduction. Human reproduction reproduced through sexual reproduction. You need explanation for this? Yes sir, give sir. I'll not give sir. You know sir. Okay. And it involves male and female reproductive system. I'll tell you what a reproductive system. It is bit complicated but easy to understand. Bit complicated because new names might come, especially for the people coming from arts and commerce background. But easy ones, not so very difficult. Just write down those names on a white paper, you will understand it, you will remember it. One is female reproductive system, other one is male reproductive system. We'll see what these are. Firstly, male reproductive system. Boys, don't laugh. Hey, you, don't laugh. Male reproductive system. You see here? You see here? First thing is the balls. These are called as testes. The balls are called as testes. The covering around the balls are called as scrotum. Kindly forgive me, I am using the general words which are used in the society only to make sure you people will understand, not to degrade the subject, not to ensure that you people will be offended. I am making this, using these words of the general society just to make you people understand. Okay, the balls are called as testes. The skin or bag-like structure, the skin or bag-like structure around the balls are called as scrotum. Fine, easy. Easy. This is testis. This covering is called as scrotum. Okay with this? The second thing, the bladder, or what you say, the male reproductive part. Majorly what you think is the male reproductive part is called as urethra. Urethra because this is a bladder. Urethra within the bladder is the opening. You see the opening, right? The opening of urethra, the opening of bladder is called as urethra. Why the opening? You need to excrete urine and the sperms or semen. This is from where the urine or sperms or semens will excrete. You know this, right? Easy? Understood these concepts? These concepts are understood, right? This is done. This is done. This is done. Now, the prostate gland. One thing. Second is vas deferens. Third is seminal vesicle. We'll discuss these now, which are usually not heard, or we are not made to remember this. Okay, but I'll make sure you people remember this. Testis, the balls. First thing, the testis, we understood what are them. testes of the balls, they will produce the sperms and testosterone hormone. Sperms and testosterone hormone are produced in testes, that is why testes name. Next is the covering, the bag like thing or skin is called as scrotum. The function of the skin is it keeps the testis, it keeps the balls at a particular lower temperature than the body. If the testis is kept at a particular lower temperature than the body, the semen or the sperms will come out of it, or it becomes difficult. The source of universe will be at a difficult stage. Okay, that is the function of the scrotum. Easy. Next is urethra. You understood this as well. Common passage for urine and sperms. Now what are left? Vas deferens is one, sir. Prostate glands and seminal vesicles are the second thing, sir. What are prostate glands? These are prostate glands. What are seminal vesicle? The connections is called as seminal vesicle. What are vas deferens? The extended connections are vas deferens by the figure. Now I will tell you the uses of each one of them. Vas deferens will carry the sperms, made from balls. The sperms made from the testes will be carried by vas deferens. Made from here will be carried by vas deferens. Easy. Vas deferens is this connection. The sperms from here are carried by vas deferens. And next thing is seminal vesicle and prostate glands. What this does is it adds fluid and nourishment to the sperms. Sperms will come from the testes, but it will be made into like a fluid and it will add the nourishment to the sperms. And this function is done by prostate gland and the seminal vesicle. Easy, very clear, very clear. If not, watch the couple of minutes which I discussed from here. Go back and watch them for 2 or 3 times. Make sure you don't forget these things. Important. Understand. Next thing is sperms and testosterone. Sperms and testosterone. Testosterone are produced from testes. Now these sperms. Sir, this diagram I have seen, sir. What is this, sir? Sperm, sir. Sperm, the body type of sperm is also important. This is the head. It will be sharp. Why sharp? Why sharp? Because egg will produce only once in a month for a female. Only one egg will be produced. Only once in a month will be produced. Only if that egg will be utilized, then a pregnancy will happen. Fine. Again, I am using the layman terms or the societal terms to make sure people will understand. Okay. But to ensure that egg is turned into a baby, millions of sperms, not one. Males are fortunate because they can produce millions of sperms for 1,000,000 times. Okay, on that particular day where the plant will also be produced, they will also be able to produce millions of sperms, and these millions of sperms will be competing with each other to inject into the sperm. Only one sperm will inject, and that will be the best sperm. To inject this, the head should be strong. It should be strong and lightly sharpened in nature. Fine, that is the concept. And head contains genetic material from the father. Genetic information, genetic material, that is the DNA, will be there in the head. Okay. Next thing, this is the middle piece for stability. Last is tail. The tail will swim. The tail will help in swimming, movement. Okay. This is the structure of sperm. Sperm is the male reproductive cell, contains genetic material, have tail for movement. We discussed it will male reproductive cells, it will have DNA, it will have tail for movement. Easy concept. Next is testosterone. It comes from the testes. The functions are it helps the sperm formation. Sperm formation happens at testes. Testes will have testosterone. The testosterone will help in formation of the sperms. Sperms are made into liquid and given nourishment by 2 other parts. Name them or go back and watch them. Okay. the testosterone will cause puberty. Males, you people would have observed your body changes, right? Puberty. They change in your voice. The beard around your neck, around your face, and the growth of mustache, and the hair below your underarms. All these are changes in the puberty phase. Okay, beard, mustache, underarm hair growth. All these are puberty elements. Fine. Easy. No confusion between the sperms and testosterone, right? Next, female reproductive system now. Okay, understand this. This is not so very easy like male reproductive system because very similar sounding names and usually confused functions. One is the names which you have to remember. The second thing is function should also be remembered. I am telling male reproductive system easy because I taught you just now, so that you people will have the confidence to remember it for a longer time. After this slide, I will tell female reproductive organ is easy, and you should feel it is easy. I have done so much of hard work to make it colorful and easily represented. Who has done like this? Who has done like this? You see, we met a word fallopian tube, fallopian tube, fallopian tube. Many times fallopian tube, the place where the fertilization takes place. Fertilization means fusion of male and female. The gametes of male and female fusion gets together. The place where it gets together is called as fallopian tube. And importantly, there is another name for it. The technical name, oviducts. Oviducts. Remember oviducts? Oviducts multiple times. If you don't remember, recall it multiple times in your brain. Write it down on a paper. Importantly. Okay, done. That is fallopian tube. Second thing is ovaries. Just like balls, just like testes for male, there will be ovaries for female. Okay, ovaries for female, which is not visible to a naked eye, unlike the testes, which is visible to a naked eye. This will be within female reproductive system. These are called ovaries. Ovaries will have very small unmatured baby egg cells when a female girl is born. When a female girl or female baby is born, ever since the birth only, that baby will be having small egg cells within her ovaries, but that will be not developed. It will be developed only once she gets past the puberty stage, and every month one immature egg will be developed into a complete egg. Understand the concept? Okay? And these eggs will be stored in ovaries. Easy? I'll discuss all of this again. Don't worry. And the other one is uterus. Uterus is the other one. And cervix. I'll discuss the functions. I'm just naming it so that this will be like a revision. Last one is vagina. Vagina, you would have known how the babies will come out of the mother body. But if you don't know, babies from the mother body comes out of the opening of vagina. Easy? Now we'll discuss each one of them in detail. I told ovaries. Ovaries produce eggs. Eggs are called as ova. One egg is called as ova. Now, oviducts, the fallopian tube. The eggs are carried to fallopian tube, and the sperms will come into the fallopian tube, and they will connect there, and they will make the love there. Okay, I'm using societal terms so that you people will understand. Kindly forgive me if you feel offended. Okay, next is uterus. Uterus. I told where is the uterus? This part is the uterus. The opening is the vagina, and the above part is cervix. Cervix is the above part of vagina. We'll discuss them now. Okay, uterus. Uterus, this part of uterus is, this is where the development of embryo and fetus happens. Now see, I told in fallopian tube, there will be making of love between the egg cell and the sperm. Once they make love, they'll form a zygote. And after forming a zygote, a small baby needs to be formed, and that small baby will develop into a bigger baby. Where that baby will be stored? It usually seems like it is stored in the stomach. Stomach is for food purpose, not for baby purpose. Okay, baby will be stored in uterus. Very important. Very important. Baby, that is the embryo and fetus. Initial small baby is embryo. Later, if it becomes big, it is fetus. That will be stored in uterus, not stomach. As usually, we will be confused. Okay. Next thing is cervix. Cervix. The opening site. It is like gate wall. It is like gate wall. The opening of uterus is cervix. Easy. Next is vagina. Vagina is, it receives the sperms and acts as birth canal. I told. The opening of birth during pregnancy, the baby comes out through the vagina, and sperms, when it wants to get into the female body, the initial site which should enter is vagina. Okay, easy with this, not confusing, right? We'll go next. Now the egg formation, which we discussed already, it will be a recap now. Easy, right? These are ovary, as I already told. These are immature egg cells during the birth of the female child, and one egg released every month after the puberty. After the puberty, that is the menarche. Menarche and menopause are two phases. Menarche is start of puberty cycle and menstrual cycle. But menopause, I will write this so that you people won't confuse. Menarche, menopause. It will be confusing. I'll give a cheat. Pause. What is pause? What is pause? What is pause? Pause means stopping. Right? You know that, right? That is clear, right? And menarche and menopause are related to menstrual cycle. Once a female girl gets into her puberty stages. Menstrual cycle. What is menstrual cycle? Monthly blood coming out of the female. Okay, that is called as menstrual cycle, and along with that one egg will be released. Okay, menarche and menopause. Menarche means start of this menstrual cycle. Menopause means ending of this menstrual cycle. This usually happens around 15 years. It varies along the individuals, but around 15 years more or less. And this menopause happens around 50 years, where female will no longer be able to produce the babies. Okay, this indicates female will be able to produce the babies. This indicates female will no longer be able to produce the babies. Easy with this concept? Easy, right? So much of work has been done to prepare these slides. Okay, fallopian tube, ovaries. From the ovaries, every month one egg cell is produced, and that egg cell will get into the fallopian tube. Along with that, a sperm will also get into the fallopian tube, and they will make the love there. They will form the zygote there. And after this zygote, an embryo and fetus will be made at where, sir? Where the baby will develop, sir? I told you, sir. New names. Write it on a plain paper. Uterus. Okay. Next, see. Egg formation. Girls are born with immature egg cells in the ovaries. I told you. After puberty, one egg cell is usually released every month. Again, I told you. Now, the fertilization. What is fertilization? Fusion of sperm and egg. Site is oviduct, fallopian tube. Formation is result of zygote will be formed. Easy, sir? Understood, sir? Understand, sir? How? Sperm will be there, egg will be there. We'll get to the oviduct, that is fallopian tube. Zygote will be formed. Clear recap, right? All I need is you people to understand it. Next is development of baby. How the baby will be developed. Already discussed. Fertilization and zygote formation happens at oviduct. That is fallopian tube. Okay. And embryo and fetus will be there in the uterus. Okay. And it comes out of the female body, the mother body. It comes out through vagina. Easy? Easy, right? And if you see the process, zygote divides repeatedly to form an embryo. This zygote should become, this is the zygote, should become an embryo, smaller baby. To do that, it should continuously divide itself. 1, 2, 1 will become 2, 2 will become 4, 4 will become 8, 8 will become 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, so on. Okay, I'm just flexing my numbers. Okay, steps. Embryo gets implanted in the uterus. Once the zygote will become embryo, embryo will get attached, implanted in the uterus. Fine. Then embryo will develop into the fetus. Embryo will develop into the fetus. Then fetus grows for about 9 months. Now this is a catch. Now this is a catch. Usually we think 9 months means after the making of love between the egg cell and the sperm cell. But more or less it is the same. But the exact but the date starts from fetus grows for about 9 months. After this, embryo develops into a fetus. Not so important, I'm just giving you a clarification. Then baby is born through contraction of uterine muscles. Uterine muscles will be contracting. Many hormones will also be released there at that time for contractions, for relaxations, and many things will be there. Through that, a baby will be born. A mother will have her most beautiful moment at that time. Okay, which is a dream for any mother. Father as well. Now, the organs or the components of the baby, that area, if I say, that is called as placenta. Everything is called as placenta. Everything together is called as placenta. Placenta means special tissue connecting mother and the embryo. So this is a tissue. It connects the mother and the embryo. That is placenta. And you see umbilical cord. This provides the nutrition from mother. Mother will give all the nutrition to her baby through umbilical cord. The names again, sir. Confusing, sir. Can't help, sir. English wala ho sala lagata. Pura names confusing wala. And then uterus. Within uterus, we have placenta. Within placenta, we have umbilical cord. Within umbilical cord is connected to the embryo or the fetus. Okay. Now we say what are the functions of placenta? It will give nutrition, that is food, respiration, it supplies oxygen, and it takes the excretion from the embryo also. Baby will also eat food and it will also digest, right? That excretion will also be taken care by placenta. Beautiful creature. God has created us as a beautiful creatures. Every organism is a beautiful creature. Now, the menstruation, which I already told you, menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle or the menstruation occurs about once every month. And you have a current affairs question also. Which is one among the first states in India to implement menstrual cycle leave in their public institutions? Every month, one menstrual cycle leave in their public institutions. Comment it, know it, important for examinations. And this is the right of every girl, every woman, and it is a good thing which should be implemented on a national level, if asked in a global level. Okay, it occurs about once every month. and duration will be 2 to 8 days. She'll suffer for 2 to 8 days like anything. We should be compassionate towards our sisters in the society. Okay? Don't mock them. Understand their pain, which they usually feel difficult to express to others. That is how we are made to survive in the society. We are blaming the society for which we are the part of. Now, when egg is not fertilized, egg survives for about 1 day. Okay. When egg has to fertilize, that is, if egg has to fertilize, within 1 day it has to fertilize. If not, in 1 day it will survive. After that, Gayaram, Gayaram. Ayaram, Gayaram, 1 day. Then, if egg is not fertilized, thickened uterine lining is not needed. Uterine lining is there, no? This lining. If egg is fertilized, if love is made, then okay, egg is gone. If egg is not fertilized, and egg will stay for 1 day, and it will not need this. After that, it will not need the uterine lining to be thicker. It will not need the uterine lining to be thicker. So what the body does is, so you are not needed in the body, you have to get out of the body. When it has to get out of the body, unfortunately, the process for that is lining breaks down and comes out as blood and mucus. This is how it happens. When it cannot come out easily, it converts itself into blood and mucus and it comes out of the female body. So very painful. The own body part will dissolve into blood and mucus and it will come out of the female body part every month. Okay? Painful, right? Every male should understand. Unfortunately, I also didn't understand for so many years. Next, reproductive health. Reproductive health means our reproductive cycle and reproductive organs and their health. Okay. Here, you would have known mostly. One of them being sexually transmitted disease. If you make love, some disease can be spread between a male and female. And within them are 2 types. Bacterial diseases, just the classification is enough. Detailment is not so necessary. Classification is very important. Viral and bacterial. Viral or gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis. These 3 are bacterial STDs. Viral are herpes, warts, HIV or AIDS. Easy, right? Easy. And methods of contraception. What is contraception? Contraception means we are contracting it. We are stopping it, pausing what, sir? We are making sure the sperm, the male egg cell and the female egg cell, sperm and egg, are not met. We are making sure they are not met before making the love. We are making sure they are not meeting only. Then how they will make the love, sir? So that is the concept. We are not making them meet. So you would have seen the movies, right? If a girl and boy loves, what the families usually do, they'll take the girl and they'll keep them in far place so that boy and girl won't meet. Similarly, here when we want the egg and cell not to meet, we'll make sure they won't meet. How we'll make sure? And if we make sure fertilization doesn't happen, that we know. How we'll make sure? There are 2 methods usually. One is the temporary method, 2 is the permanent method. Temporary method we'll see first. First one is condoms. You know that temporary method, it will prevent sperms from reaching eggs, also reduce STDs. Easy. Second thing is oral pills. What oral pills does is, it prevents ovulation, that is the egg release. It prevents ovulation. Third is copper T or copper T loop. Copper T or copper T loop or loop. This, what happens is, it is implanted within female reproductive organ. This prevents fertilization and implantation. Fertilization is prevented. See, a copper T loop like this is inserted within the vagina. Easy. Next, permanent methods. Vasectomy and tubectomy. vasectomy and tubectomy. How to remember this? Sir, I know this concept, sir, but I usually forget, sir. How to remember this? You know this, right? What? Fallopian tube, right? You know fallopian tube, right? See here, when the tube comes, when the fallopian tube comes, it is related to the female. It is related to the female. The other one apart from the tube is obviously the male. Well, fine. Vasectomy and tubectomy. This is how not to forget the concepts, related concepts. What they do in the vasectomy is vas deferens in males is blocked. These are vas deferens. The function of vas deferens is to carry the sperms from the balls, that is the test from the testes. The sperms are carried by vas deferens, and that vas deferens will carry the sperms through two elements which will provide the fluid and nutrition. What are the two elements? Comment it down. What are the two elements? Comment it down or go back to the video and study. So what they are doing is vas deferens are blocked like this, so that sperm only will not pass. It will stay there only. Okay. Second is tubectomy. What they will do in the tubectomy is fallopian tube is blocked. The site where the fertilization occurs, that is blocked, so that fertilization won't occur. This is how it is made. Okay. Last one, easy, just a recap of few names. Sperm, male gamete. Ovum, female gamete. Ovum is one egg. One egg is ovum. Many eggs are ova. Many eggs are ova. Next, fertilization, fusion. Zygote first. Zygote will become embryo. Embryo will become fetus. Zygote it fallopian tube. These two at uterus. What is zygote? Fertilized egg is called as zygote. Early stages of development of baby or embryo is called as baby or fetus is called as embryo. Fetus is developed embryo, the baby. Next, placenta is the link between mother and fetus. Mother and fetus placenta. The tissue is called as placenta. What is umbilical cord? Go back and study. Menstruation, shedding of uterine lining. Menstruation means shedding of uterine lining. Shedding of uterine lining means that dissolves like blood and mucus. Okay. Next is contraception. Preventing the pregnancy is contraception. Easy, very easy, right? Now by this we complete the chapter of reproduction. Reproduction chapter is very important. We complete the chapter of reproduction through this. Easy, right? Very easy. So this is all about the reproduction. In the coming two classes or one classes, I don't know, I might be completing the biology completely for CAPF AC. You see, very easily biology has been completed and it is been given through slides in a beautiful manner, so that you people will be in an easy way to compete in the examination. To get these slides, kindly contact the number displaying below the smart board. We'll help you out and will also help you in acing the paper 2, which is very, very important for the examination. Mark my words, without acing the paper 2, you are not getting into a list, because you can score 120 to 130 marks out of 200 if you ace the paper 2. Else, you can score 60 marks in paper 2. Where is 60? Where is 130? That 60 marks is what will give you the rank. Learn from the toppers like us. Okay. And in paper 2, we'll be giving the entire notes. We'll be giving the explanation of concepts, and if you join the course, you can write the daily essays, answer ratings, etc., which will be evaluated personally by me, and I will be giving you the feedback. Fine, easy with this course, right? Kindly join us and also subscribe to our YouTube channel and get into our Telegram channel, so that we'll be giving you updates on various other examinations. Especially coming EPF examination, we will be conducting the course on that as well in a more extensive manner as well. Okay. Kindly make sure of this. Get through the examination. Make sure you become officer. Fulfill the dreams of your parents and yourself. Serve the society in a responsible manner. All the best. Stay focused, stay connected to us. All the best. All the best to everyone. Thank you.